Welcome to Unit 2.7 on Industrial and Employee Relations. This section will delve into the dynamics between employers and employees, focusing on the Labor Management Relations Act. In this unit, we will analyze and apply the sources of conflict in the workplace. Understanding these sources is crucial for effective industrial relations. Conflict arises when there is friction between two or more parties, often between employers and employees. This can result in hard feelings, lack of cooperation, low productivity, inappropriate conduct, and less profit. Poor communication is a major source of conflict. When decisions are made without consulting employees, it can lead to dissatisfaction and frustration. Ignoring employees' needs and wants, such as scheduling issues, can also fuel conflict. Different perceptions and excessive competition can also lead to conflict. People interpret things differently, and encouraging too much competition can backfire, creating a hostile work environment. Abuse of power is another significant source of conflict. When authority is used unfairly to gain an advantage or inflict harm, it can lead to deceit, coercion, and intimidation. Conflicts can arise from incompatible beliefs or principles. Differences in values, such as generational gaps, can lead to misunderstandings and an inability to accept these differences. Different personalities can also be a source of conflict. Personal grievances, grudges, and gossiping can make it difficult to separate personal from professional life, leading to workplace tension. Conflict isn't always negative. It can raise and address real issues, help people recognize and benefit from differences, and lead to a better understanding of problems. Sometimes, conflict itself isn't the underlying problem. We will evaluate various approaches to conflict in the workplace, including collective bargaining, work to rule, and strike action by employees, as well as threats of redundancies and changes of contract by employers. Employees may join trade unions, paying an annual fee. Union officials act as representatives of workers, advocating for their rights and interests. Workers join unions to protect their rights, leveraging the strength in numbers. If one employee goes on strike, it may have little impact, but if all employees strike, the company must respond. Workers' objectives include increased pay, improved benefits, better working conditions, training, better working hours, and improved facilities like canteens and staff rooms. Employers often dislike unions because meeting union demands can lead to increased costs and reduced profits. Collective bargaining involves employees using union representatives to negotiate with employers. The goal is to achieve a mutually acceptable outcome. Collective bargaining benefits employers by allowing them to negotiate with one representative rather than many workers. It also helps impose discipline and build common interests with employees. There are various approaches to negotiation, including avoidance, winner-takes-all, win-lose, and win-win. Each approach has its own dynamics and potential outcomes. Work to rule is a method where employees strictly adhere to their contract, refusing to do any extra work. This includes leaving as soon as their shift ends and not answering phones during breaks. Similar to work to rule, go slow involves working just enough to meet contractual demands. Employees may also refuse to work overtime, especially during busy seasons, to push for their objectives. Strikes are a more direct method where employees refuse to work until their demands are met. They usually vote in advance and give warning to the employer before taking action. During an employee strike, workers may spontaneously decide to walk out right on the spot, known as a walkout. Companies might attempt to replace striking workers, and these replacements are often referred to as scabs. Employers aim to lower production costs to stay competitive, improve productivity levels, and reduce absenteeism and staff turnover. However, employee objectives typically raise costs, creating a natural conflict between the goals of employees and employers. One tactic employers use to achieve their objectives is collective bargaining, which involves negotiations with employees and may include setting deadlines to pressure them. Employers may also threaten redundancy, indicating that jobs will be eliminated if demands are not met. Another tactic is changing the next contract, requiring employees to agree to new terms if they want a new contract. Closing the factory is another tactic, where workers receive notice and operations may move overseas. Lockouts involve short-term closures to prevent employees from working and getting paid. In the context of industrial and employee relations, it's important to evaluate various approaches to conflict resolution, including conciliation and arbitration, employee participation in industrial democracy, no-strike agreements, and single union agreements. Conflict resolution involves taking steps to resolve differences and conflicts. Success is achieved when a satisfactory outcome is reached for all parties involved. Conciliation, or mediation, involves a third party moderating to find a compromise. Arbitration also involves a third party but with the power to make the final decision, which becomes legally binding and can improve the image of the union. Employee participation is another approach, where team working is encouraged, and employees are given responsibilities and authority to complete tasks, taking part in decision-making. No-strike agreements involve union members agreeing not to take strike action as a form of protest, which can improve the union's image and attract more members. Single union agreements mean the organization participates in collective bargaining with one labor union, simplifying negotiations for management.